Yeah.
Welcome everyone. Uh, I am starting with the situation currently on, almost like kind of a not in traditional sense, but though only some countries are involved actually in the fighting, Russia, Ukraine, etc. Rest of the world is hugely affected in terms of not supply is not available, material is not available. I mean, logistic lines taking one from one place to another place, all those are blocked, and inflation is therefore going higher and higher. I mean, some of the European countries are facing inflation which is historically high levels, and it is affecting not only the countries in Europe, but also otherwise. You must have seen the effects of high inflation in Sri Lanka, and so on and so forth. But all this is you know what it is actually, what is behind all this, and why we can't you know create some kind of culture which can resolve all these disputes, not only in local levels but also national as well as international level. That is the problem that perhaps SCI can work for. um, um, this country like Russia has most number of nuclear bombs. I mean, they, according to my information, have 4,000 bombs, and the world, all the countries together, are holding about 13,000 bombs, nuclear bombs, and each you have already seen the devastation resulted out of one bomb on Hiroshima and another bomb on Nagasaki, and almost 2 lakh people were killed in that, and so many casualties in the current war. And what is behind all this actually? Do we know all these heroes of these wars and everything, but we don't know the people who are working with peace. Do you know any peace award winner, Nobel Prize winner, for example? We don't, but not many. Our most of the known people are, those who are actually leading some war or something like that. Our leaders are like that, and these peace makers, or the people who are working for peace. Like for example, I would actually name William Kramer. Actually, he worked for he got awarded in 1903, and he worked for international arbitration through his life. And how many people know about him? So what is behind all this is very important, because to me, it's a kind of a war is a business. Um, and the world is a testing ground. I mean, if you remember what happened in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and when it happened, there was fear behind it that Hitler will develop nuclear bomb, and then he will also use it.
Hello,
So
पहिल्या
there was a Manhattan Project which developed in America the nuclear bomb, and see the hurry with which it was all done. They tested a final test of this nuclear bomb was in July 1945, and actual use was in August, just 16 days ahead of that final test. And remember, I mean, all this is science being used for something which is not good for human race, and therefore we have to, I mean, our responsibility is to work hard for this, that we have to replace this culture of fighting or something like, and then culture of from that culture of war we have to shift to culture of peace. Now, in that regard, I would tell you, I mean, what ultimately is a war? I mean, there's a story. I mean, there are so many stories, but most of the stories are same. But I would tell you a story of in Second World War, there was a village. There were thousands of people living there for hundreds of years. Some soldiers came and killed everybody. The entire village was killed. And those soldiers who killed them, after some days, they themselves became the victim and got killed in a battle. So who benefits? Actually, the people don't. Most of the civilians suffer, and even soldiers suffer. But who is behind all this? The politicians, the whatever, the businessmen. I mean, say for example, our Vardun. In Vardun, there was a village called Esnes where, which was destroyed in First World War, and Paris Russell came forward and actually reconstructed that village. We all know that story. The details, if you read, you'll be shocked to know that Vardun was actually well fortified kind of a city. I mean, the walls protecting Vardun city was actually 30 feet tall and 30 feet wide. And still, why it was targeted, you'll be surprised to know, shocked to know that Germans or Hitler wanted to test their weaponry, the artillery shells. They produced, manufactured around what, 3 million artillery shells. Artillery shells, the one which is fired through a gun, and then he continuously, I mean, this war was actually 10 months long, the longest battle in the history of warfare, and also the costliest. 3 lakh people died on each side, the French side as well as German side, and most of them were civilians. The thing is, it's like, kind of a testing of weaponry on innocent city, innocent civilians, and see what happened. Then came the idea. Paris Russell went there in 1920, actually started that work camp, and then came forward to create SCI and propagate work camp as an idea of coming together of different people from different nationality. Even the Germans were part of that camp, if you know. Um, but all this is also provoked by some kind of a feeling that common people also have. I mean, you will find many people going for nationalism, kind of nationalism which is aggressive, and that can be damaging. I mean, Gandhi used nationalism for bringing people together, but after looking at, how many people know that, looking at the damage which was done in First World War, Rabindranath Tagore, he actually saw the damage, and he said ki this nationalism, even not the nationalist, like simple non-violent nationalism, but even the aggressive nationalism is so damaging that it will ultimately they endanger the human species also. And then Vardun was actually the example for him, Rabindranath Tagore, and not, this is not mentioned, not discussed anywhere, but let me tell you that he therefore opposed even the non-violent kind of nationalism. He says internationalism is the only thing, and therefore this idea SCI is already working for. Now we have to work in a fashion which is more effective and more efficient. I mean, we can't be slow in this, because the parties which are opposing this idea are very strong, efficient, professionals, scientists, and all those. We are fight. I mean, we are put against them, and therefore we have to come together with more solidarity and work for the converting this culture of fight into culture of war into the culture of peace. So in that direction, we have published, prepared some booklet and some videos also, which I will share you later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vivek.